I told them this is one of my big hits was this plastic arrow, and
Yeah, I
I
saw
could
that.
tell on their face they were thinking, who is this guy and why am I sitting here? And I know it. I know it. It's like you're three doors and you're going to knock on a door and you don't know which one has the prize. So, but you have to knock on the doors.
Yeah.
So I want to knock on as many doors as I can because I know something's behind there. I just have to
Exactly.
find the right door. Sometimes companies will say no. And then 6 months later, if you resubmit your idea, sometimes they say yes.
Hey guys, I'm Kanika from GreyB Services and I interviewed Stephen K. For those of you who don't know, he's the co-founder of inventRight LLC, has 20 patents till date, won 2 Edison awards and mentors a huge number of inventors on a daily basis. So let's hear out what he has to say about selling ideas and licensing your creativity.
I also wanted to know that, the kind of business you're in, or the kind of, you can say, the type of work that you've chosen for yourself for life. I think on a daily basis, you might be, intentionally or unintentionally meeting a lot of inventors, like a lot of inventors. I wanted to know that, what are those common traits or those characteristics which you notice in almost all of them, and maybe some portion of their personality which actually makes it very clear that they are here to do something, to make things big, because they have something invented, and they're also they have the courage to actually go out and look out for ways to actually license and protect it. So they're not stagnant just by inventing it and stopping there.
I think inventors, because I get to see a full range of inventors, from simple ideas to complex ideas.
Yeah.
But they're all the same in that they have this vision.
Yeah.
And it's a burning desire. It's something that they cannot stop. They think about it 24 hours a day. They drive everybody nuts around them because they're talking about it. There's a passion that I see with all inventors, regardless of what category you're in, regardless of what technology you're in, regardless of where you live.
Yeah.
There's an excitement in their voice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there's something very magical about having an idea here and then seeing people use it. So
Exactly.
it's not about the money. The money will come, right? But it's not the money isn't the greatest motivator here. It's the love of seeing something new. So I get to see it every day. And it's fun for me because I remember when I first started out, that feeling of seeing your product being used or someone buying it, it was this wonderful feeling. Well, I don't really get that feeling so much anymore, but I get to relive it through other people now.
Through them, yeah.
So when they do it and I get to see their excitement, it brings me back to when I first started. Yeah.
So it's basically you see a reflection of yourself in them, like when you started with it.
Well, I'm glad you said that because a lot of people ask, why do I educate so much, and why is that so important to me? And you're right, I get to see that reflection back. I get to see myself. So every time I see someone struggling, or every time I see someone having a problem, I've had that issue myself. I can identify with it. So someone had called me over on Saturday. Someone had called and they had a licensing agreement.
Okay.
And they reached out to me and some other coaches that we have, and no one got back to that person. I did. Because I know what it feels like to have that.
Yeah, you can
that
relate
in your hand.
Yeah.
And I know how nerve-wracking that is. So I love to call because I know what that feels like. So I'm the first one to come to their rescue and say, okay, settle down, relax, we'll figure this out. And I think I think they appreciate it. I like it.
That's amazing. Also, I wanted to know that a lot of inventors would be meeting you with their inventions. They'll be coming up. The inventions would be amazing, outstanding, and maybe you're quite impressed. But then you see, after a few years, they're not able to make it big with the invention. Like the inventions were amazing, but they were not able to do justice to that. So, what do you think were the mistakes which could have been avoided at that point of time, which you think?
Oh. Well, no one has all the answers, right? No one has the crystal ball. And no one knows if one idea is going to be accepted or not. The true test is that consumer that goes down and buys it, or goes down and has a repeat order is the most important part, right? So to me, it's one thing to come up with an idea. It's another thing to license that idea. It's another thing for that to be on the store shelf. But it's another thing for that consumer to buy it and then come back to buy it again.
Again, yeah.
Okay, so that's not easy to do. And you don't know, no one knows, right?
Exactly.
So you just have to, what I'm telling everybody, the process I'm trying to tell everybody is you can do this, all right? And you don't have to start a business or file expensive patents or build prototypes. You can do this with a simple sell sheet and sell the benefit first and see if a company will take it. But come up with a lot of ideas, because you just don't know which one's going to be popular or not. I don't know. People ask me all the time, Steve, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? I know the process,
Yeah,
but I don't have the crystal ball either. But
exactly.
try it. And that's what I love about it too. I like the unknown.
The experimentation, basically.
Yeah, because you know what it's like? It's like you're three doors and you're going to knock on a door and you don't know which one has the prize.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
but you have to knock on the doors.
Yeah,
So I want to knock on as many doors as I can, because I know something's behind there. I just have to find the right door. Okay.
yeah. So that's like, I think what I can pick up from this is like, giving up is not a choice here. Like in this business, or in this, basically in this area, you don't have to give up, because it's a long process. So you need to have that kind of patience within yourself, and that cannot be like, somebody could teach you that. Even you cannot teach it to someone. That's like, it's coming from them, that kind of patience to deal with it.
Yeah, it takes a lot of patience, and I think inventors are no collectors. We collect no's. And we're going to get a lot of people saying, no, that's okay. I tell everybody, collect as many no's from people as you can, because there's a very good chance there's a yes in there and you don't know when. So how do you keep motivated? I think that's a very good question. For me, I would do this. There's a business side of it that you have to wear a business hat. And that business hat is not an easy hat to wear. You have to reach out to companies, get rejected, build relationships, keep going. And then you have this magical hat of coming up with ideas. Okay, so don't confuse the two. Keep them separate. Keep them very separate. So whatever happens on the business side does not destroy your magic. Right? And don't let the magic be so overwhelming that you don't do the business. So it's a balance.
It's a balance, indeed.
Yeah. So I think what I do personally, I do the hard stuff first, and then I reward myself with the opportunity to be creative. All right. So that gets me through the hard times, because every time I come up with something new, I kind of forget the hard times. That's how I do it. That's how I do it. Okay. Because that's how I've survived it, I think. Yeah.
Amazing. So I think the catch line here would be, inventors are no collectors. I mean, that's something very great I'm hearing today. that gives the title. No collectors. I mean, it's giving a kind of motivation to move on as well, that you'll get a lot of no's in your way, and then you have to just go on and on.
I used to, I still do. I collect all my no's. I have a folder with all my no's. And I've been turned down and rejected by the best. And I'm proud of those no's, right? Because it shows that I was able to participate. I was able to get in front of companies. I did something that's not everyone can do, or anybody that not everybody cares to do, but you reach a mountaintop when you're getting no's. You're at the top. So that's something to celebrate too. So
Yeah.
the no's don't hurt anymore. They used to kind of bother me, because once you get a yes, the no's don't matter.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
yeah, so I used to tell everybody I could probably wallpaper my office with my no's. I always told everybody I was going to make a poster of all my no's from all the big companies, just to show them I'm a tough guy. I can take it.
That would be amazing. People would be like, okay, we're not the only one here. So, when it comes from you, so it is really motivating in that case.
Yeah, I think if you've collected a no, you should celebrate that. I think that's an accomplishment. I think that's a celebration, because a yes could come. Here's another thing too. Sometimes companies will say no, and then 6 months later, if you resubmit your idea, sometimes they say yes. That happens all the time, and everybody's very shocked by that. And I tell them, a no is just a no today. It doesn't mean it's a no tomorrow. So
amazing.
So don't get discouraged by it. It's just a no today. So find out why they said no, try to fix it, retweak it, redesign it, go back again and resubmit it, because there's a very good chance they'll take it. It's all timing. Okay.
So just something that you said right now, like you reach out to them after 6 months and it becomes a yes. Do you think it basically depends on the pitch or the way we reach out and to whom we reach out and all that process which we followed?
It's timing. Sometimes a company has a cycle, right? And you might hit the cycle the wrong time. They're doing something. They're launching new products. They're getting ready for a trade show. So maybe your timing's not right, or maybe that person within the company has left, another person, or maybe they're looking. Maybe the market is telling them they need something else. So how do you know they hit the right timing? You don't know. So the best approach is submit it, be very free, reach out to them, submit it, thank them if they give you a no, tell them you'll be back with another idea, and build a relationship. And then with 6 months, come back around and say, hey, I just want to check in with you to see if there's anything that's changed. Here's a new idea. Maybe this is one of my old ideas. But I've seen that happen so many times now, where they take it 6 months later. And it always surprises me. It really surprises the person, right? So it's never just no. It's only no for that one particular moment.
That's great. That's today's motivation. Also, I have seen you, like a lot of people have known you for selling ideas, and this is basically, you is your tagline or what you say at a lot of events as well. If I had to ask you to sell your book, one simple idea, how would you do that? Like right now, maybe for all the inventors who would be watching this later, who would be reading the interview, how would you sell that book to them? Even when I know that don't need to, people come to you, they buy it, and they need it. But if you had to do it, how would you do that?
I think one simple idea is for every creative person that has an idea that's always felt they could not do anything with it. One simple idea reinvented that invention process. It provided tools for anybody that has an idea to bring it to market, no matter how old you are, where you live. Doesn't matter what your financial situation is. One simple idea is for everyone. It levels the playing field that anyone with an idea can bring it to market.
Nice. I think
I,
I
I, I didn't know that when I wrote it.
yeah,
It surprised me.
okay.
One simple idea, that process was for someone like me that didn't have tools. It was for someone that didn't have experience, that didn't want to start a business, that didn't want to file patents, that didn't want to. I wrote it for me, the average person. And I didn't realize that by doing that, it gave the roadmap to so many people. It surprised me. I didn't see it. So I'm surprised. Yeah.
So it was basically you just wrote it out because you felt that it was a problem, and it turned out that it is a huge problem because of the sales it made, and then people looking out for it, and specifically searching for it, people interviewing you after that for that book. Like the whole interviews is based on those books, many of them which I saw, and it's like people are just loving talking about that. I've seen a lot of interviews which you've given. People are just showing you the book, and then they start talking about it, and it is never ending, like for 1 hour, for 2 hours.
I remember McGraw-Hill, the publisher, had reached out to me and said, "You need to write a book." And I was like, "Well, why would I do that?" And I just told a story. That's all it really was a story. And I think I was looking back. I wanted, I was one of those individuals that didn't really have a lot of skills, and I didn't think anybody would ever hire me for a job. And I just didn't think there was a place for me. And I think a lot of inventors might feel the same way. How do I fit in? And I know I had the ability to be creative, but how do I fit into this weird world we live in? And I found a way, and I'm so happy I did, that I wrote that. It still puts a smile on my face today, because I didn't think there was a place for me. So, and I think a lot of inventors feel the same way. How do I fit in? How can I make a difference? How can I share my creativity with the world? And I think there's always been so many roadblocks for people, and they didn't have a process. It was complicated. And I think one simple idea took all those roadblocks and threw them out the door.
That's great. Like, don't fit in. I think everybody uses that line almost daily. No matter what they're doing, they think that they just don't fit in here. And then they spend like years, in the wrong industry. They spend years figuring out what they want in life. What would they do which will actually, make them feel at peace? So it's amazing that, you just, you are just giving it all away, nothing to hide, and, nothing to, okay, I'll keep these strategies to myself or something. It's like people can read it and go on. They don't need to stop at a point. There are no, roadblocks for them.
Yeah, I was, this whole journey has been very interesting. I didn't know there was a right or wrong way to do any of this. I just did it the way I thought I could possibly do it. So looking back, I have a company called inventRight where we educate a lot of students around the world.
Yeah.
I never thought, I just wanted to talk about it. I found people like myself, so I just talked about it, and I didn't think much about it. And now my philosophy has always been to give everything away. And I think, and that's what we do with the books or videos or articles. We just give it everything away. And a lot of people are surprised at that. I don't know if that's a good business model, but it was something I thought was important to do, right? And because of that, we have a large audience now that's following that message. And I think,
exactly.
and I think it's a message of giving and community. I think it's a message of helping each other. So I'm it's worked out beautiful, more than I could ever imagine. So I'm anti-company person. I have this company, and that's the most ironic thing in the world. Now there's 20 of us, but we all have the same goals. And I think we're making a difference, and I'm really proud of that. So,
Absolutely.
and I like to see people successful. You know, when people are successful, like I said, I get to share in it, and they tell me, which I really like. I think it's very unusual. They might be a student of mine, or maybe they just read the one simple idea. They watched the video, but if it works, they always tell me that I had a part of their journey. And I love that they do that. So I really appreciate that. I think I have friends all over the world. Yeah.
That's amazing. I mean, to hear that you have friends all over the world. I mean,
Yeah, it surprises me.
it is literally difficult to talk to people. You know, it takes years for people to get out of their shell and talk to a person even sitting like next to them. And you know, many people who are successful, who have a lot of knowledge, I've seen it on LinkedIn as well, I've seen it at a lot of platforms. They are very much hesitant to give a part of their time actually to somebody, because I think they've just priced it out, like, you know, they just think that it works everywhere the same, like per hour basis. Okay, I'm charging per hour for my work, so I don't need to spend time on something which is free of cost. Some people have that kind of ideology, and that makes me feel sick, that you are not putting out what you already have learned through your experiences, and it is actually going nowhere.
I think today that if you're really good at something, someone told me, a couple really smart people that are much smarter than I am told me, if you're really good at something, give it all away. And it shows that you're a reliable resource, right? I think that's hopefully what people see, that I'm not afraid to give it away, because I think there's more, and there's always more. I think I'm still learning. I'm still involved. I have a project that I work on called fishbone packaging, which eliminates the plastic rings around on 6-packs. So I'm still working on projects, and I get to sit at the table, and I'm still learning too. I don't think you stop learning. So I want to share that with everybody else. And I think it's a great journey I'm on, and I want other people to experience it too. So no, I'm not afraid of it. And I think people that do not give their information away, they're afraid. They're not confident enough that they are truly an expert. So we just have, I think it helps.
It does,
Right?
definitely.
And I think if it helps, then you're doing everything right. It's pretty simple, actually. So
It's
I don't know why
beautiful.
everybody complicates the whole thing.
Exactly.
I think the book could have been called One Simple Guy. I believe in just making it really easy for people, you know, and if I do, I need it easy for me. Okay, so, you know, yeah.
Talking about inventRight, and also you mentioned that you're just learning every day. So just share an instance with us where you know, you've been working with inventors like since years now. So you just came across this particular case of this particular invention, this particular inventor, and you were like, oh God, this is like a start from scratch basically. I'm getting to learn everything. Everything is so new, and it's also amazing. So one of the best experiences that you had with a particular inventor or with multiple inventors, which could, you know, inspire a group of people hearing this.
Hmm. Well, every journey is different, but it's the same. There's elements that are the same, right? So
Yeah.
We have students in so many different industries now. It used to be in just a couple industries, but now open innovation has expanded to all industries. So I get to learn. See, I get to see problems. right? And because we have students, every student has so many problems, we get to deal with problems every single day. So, and I like the problems because they're not problems, they're just opportunities to shine. So that's how I learn now, right? Is to listen and to see what's going on so I can overcome the problems or put together programs that overcomes the problems or write about it. So I'm always constantly learning too. It's never gets old. What I like today though is the challenges for me today are working with real large companies, and they're not used to working with individuals. So they're used to, those billion-dollar companies are used to working with other billion-dollar companies, right? So to me, how do you participate in those conversations? That to me is very challenging. And that's what I like, because the one thing that gives me the ability to be at the table is understanding intellectual property. See, that is a very big tool, right? It's a worldwide tool. And although there's issues and problems with intellectual property, it levels the playing field. So I might be one individual and I might be discussing a project with a billion-dollar company. And if I understand intellectual property or the manufacturing more than they do, I have the advantage. And it's okay to be small. It's okay to be, you don't have to be a big company. You can still be very clever, very small, very quick. And I think people don't realize you have an advantage over large companies because you're quicker and you can use the tools. So what I like today is I'm going to be writing more about those tools and how to leverage those tools from a business perspective, not so much from a protection perspective, but really use them. And I also think that today, with all the copycats and infringers and all the problems, I think they're great. I think they're okay. All right. So I tell everybody, that's fine. Okay. But let's be smart and let's leverage other tools we have. So I think you're always constantly looking at the landscape and adjusting it, because we're inventors. We can adjust ourselves. We can adjust our thoughts and we can do all that. So we have to be inventive, not only with our ideas, but how to commercialize our inventions.
Yeah. I mean, that's one problem, or that's one area which people do not understand very early in their business. Like we have a special team here which tells people or startups that how important it is to actually protect your ideas. I mean, protect your business and spend money on protecting your own business. That is something which is, I think it should be very natural, but that has to be taught, and that has to be really, really taught to, a large group of people. But I think the organizations or the startups which actually adapted very early, build an intellectual property, or have a strong portfolio, and then they go on with their business. I think they are the ones who are there, for the longer run. No matter what happens, they're still there. They're still there. They're still acquiring, doing something. They're still in the business. They're still in the game.
You know what's interesting? I'm glad you brought that up. Intellectual property is just one tool. That's all it is, just one tool. It's a good tool, it's a fun tool, but it's only one. And you cannot just hand it off to somebody, right? And I've noticed that startups just hand off to like a patent attorney. You cannot do that. You have to manage it, understand your point of difference, because if you manage it correctly, it's a leveraging tool. It's a tool to raise funds. It's a tool to find partners. It's a tool, it's this wonderful tool. And they keep on thinking it's a protection tool. Yes and no, it's much more than that. So in protecting your trade secrets or intellectual property, it's a real fun thing to do, but it's not the only thing to do. And there's so many other ways to protect yourself that has nothing to do with intellectual property. Okay, so So it's really just being smart and looking at the marketplace and building a smart team around you, right? And using all those resources, but don't just hand it off to somebody. Check off a box. No. You have to leverage your knowledge and your point of difference. That's the most important thing, I think, if you're a startup or inventor, really knowing your point of difference in the marketplace, knowing your point of difference from similar products or services, and knowing your point of difference in prior art, prior patents. That's the greatest tool. If you can really understand that, you can leverage it.
Your novel element, your novelty, basically, as a whole, you can say that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's amazing. That's some amazing, information I'm getting today. A lot of it. I was really curious to know. You've been, out there selling your ideas in street fairs, literally, and then to large organizations. What do you think works in both the scenarios? Like, in just, if one or two things which just work in both these scenarios, because the environment is really different.
I think it's the same.
Okay.
I think if you're selling on a street corner with a little table, it's the same if you're in a boardroom with a major company. I think they're so similar. I don't think people realize how similar they are.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think the kind of questions people put on, when you actually explain your idea or when you go on proving your point. So maybe for you, it has been like really a smooth process and it's been really easy. But it would be really hard to, explain the same thing to two different type of people, two people with very different mindsets.
Well, it's storytelling. That's all it is. It's storytelling. I don't think you have to sell. I think you tell a story.
Yeah.
So if I have a little card table and I'm on a street fair and someone walks by, my product is telling a story, basically why you need that. Okay. And I might say, hey, look what this does. Do you need that? And that person walks by, I need that. Okay. So it's no different if you're in a boardroom. I remember I was in a boardroom at Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
And there was 17 or 14 vice presidents around the world were in that boardroom. And I'm just a guy selling something on a street corner. And I felt the same way again. Here's what I have. Do you need it?
Yeah, you want it?
It to me was so similar because I was telling a story of what this would do for you. So you really have to have a product or service that really truly helps somebody. And I think if you know that and you can kind of make it short and sweet. See, we have a tendency to want to make it a long sell. I don't think that's a good idea. I think it's a short sell. Okay. I think it's, and if you can figure that out, you should never be intimidated no matter where you go. Tell your story and make it short. Tell them why they tell the story about why you need it and why they just might need it too, or their customers might need it. That's why I don't think it's selling. I think it's storytelling. And I think every entrepreneur has that ability to tell the story they're passionate about. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Also, I've heard a lot of times you mentioning in your videos, ideas with a wow, produce ideas with a wow. So I wanted to know from you that, how do you generate ideas with a wow every single time? And, do the basics of open innovation actually work out for you here, or it's just very natural, a natural process?
Yeah, I don't know if it's hard to create wow. I don't know if you know it when you're doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know you just create wow. I don't know if you sat down and go, I'm going to design something that has wow. I don't think you can do that. I think what you do is that you problem solve something and it just happens to have a wow factor. I've seen it. I know what it is, but I don't know how to just pull it out of thin air. I don't know how to do that. But I really know when you see it, though. um, I don't think every project or every product has to have a wow factor. I don't think that, I still think you can be extremely successful with a product that people need. But every once in a while, there's a product that has a wow factor, and that is you hit the home run, right? You hit the home run. And
Yeah, exactly. That's just one.
yeah,
That
and I don't know if you can. I have a couple products that do that. I have one that does that, and
Okay.
but I always like to show a range of ideas, and I always stay with the one that's so simple. And once I show it, I was at a conference. It was in Australia, and the front row were all these very bright PhDs, and they were all lined up. And I showed the dumbest idea you've ever seen, because I wanted them to know I'm not that bright, and I wanted to show them that you don't have to be. So I showed them this really simple little thing. It's called a little arrow. It's called "I'm Stuck on You" or "I Love You." And I told them this is one of my big hits, was this plastic arrow. And
Yeah, I
I
saw
could
that.
tell on their face they were thinking, who is this guy and why am I sitting here? And I know it. All right. And then I brought out something else that that would show them the range of creativity. And then I showed them, here's a bottle that when you spin it, gives you more information.
Okay.
And I go, they're both very simple. One has an element of surprise.
That's just
this
using
could-
this. That's just using the same space creatively. Like,
And I could tell their jaw dropped, because here was such a range.
yeah.
And I wanted them to see that. I wanted them to see that you can have fun with it, right? And be serious with it, and have a lighthearted side to it too. Okay, so not all products are going to have a wow factor. I don't think they all need it, but if you do come up with one, congratulations, because you're going to have a fun time with that one.
Yeah, I saw that video where you were showing them these little medicines, little bottles, and then the labels actually shifted so that, and the same space was being used in many different ways. And I was like, oh God, this is just, I'm just so cool.
Yeah, that was weight-based dosing. That spin label was on a product that would correctly dose a child by the weight, not by the age.
Okay.
And then I could show that same concept on a fun package that just told a story. So it's just a full range of what you do with your creativity. I think it's pretty endless. And I think, so yeah, I get to have a lot of fun with stuff like that. Yeah.
That's amazing. Also, speaking of creativity, I think you always say that you always tell people that license your creativity. What do you think actually validates to be creative enough? I mean, how do they know that they have some kind of creativity which they're going to license? So this is something with them, and this is creative enough, and now they're going to move out and license it.
Well, I look back at my first idea that I thought was a great idea, and it was just terrible. It's such a funny idea. I remember sharing that with my wife, and she was just like, but I got better. My ideas got better, and some ideas, I love all ideas, but some are more marketable than others, but I love them all. So I don't think I think you just have to play with it and have confidence in yourself. And I think you just don't know. And I like that part of it. I see, what I try to tell everybody, if I come up with an idea that kind of comes in my head and I go, wow, am I crazy? Is that a good idea? I don't know. I think it's a great idea, but I don't know. So most people want to think about it. They want to show it to friends, or they want to build. I don't want to do that. I want to show it to someone that could use it, that would license it from me the same day. That's how excited I am about it. I want them to tell me I'm crazy or they love it. I want that. So, and I found a way to do that very quickly. So I could come up with an idea in the morning that I'm really excited about. I think it's the greatest idea, but I don't know. So I'll get on the phone and I'll get someone on the phone and I'll pitch my idea or show them a sales sheet and go, am I crazy? And let them tell me. I want to know, and I want to know quickly. So the process that I put in place allows you to do that really fast. Quick, speed. Today it's speed. And one simple idea allows people to do it so quick with so little money and time invested. And let the market tell you if you're crazy or not.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's the catch.
That
It also reminds me, you once shared an idea with your wife and she told you that it's pathetic, but then you ended up licensing it. And you got two different feedbacks, and I think that was when you decided that you have to keep these two things very different.
Yeah, I was very fortunate that I met an amazing woman that has a traditional background in new products, and I would always show her my ideas. And there's one particular idea I really loved, and I loved it so much. And here it is. Here, I loved it so much, and so I asked her, and I'll never forget that she just didn't really think there was anything there. In fact, I think her quote was, the chances of licensing that idea are about 1 in a million. Now, I think inventors could take that information and not do anything, or like someone like myself going, no, the market needs to tell me, right? And I value that opinion very, very much, but I'm not going to let it stop me. And so sure enough, I did. I sent it off 3 days later to a company, and they got back to me 3 days later, and it sold for 10 years.
Amazing.
And she hates when I tell that story, and I tell that story wherever I go, because it just shows that the only opinion that matters is the company you're showing it to, right? I mean, that's the lesson there. And
yeah.
But I also will say this: the smartest woman I know is my wife, and I still ask her opinion on just about everything. So, yeah.
Amazing. I just love your energy when you said that. I want to get it out there, like right now. I want to call someone and ask it. Do you need it? This is something you need, and then you also, get a response, because it shows your passion, your energy, getting it immediately done. Maybe they accept it, maybe they reject it, but it has to go somewhere. It cannot just lie around here.
No, and you should never let it. I think the biggest mistake someone can make is not doing anything, right? So you shouldn't be fearful of it. You should be careful, but never fearful. And I think I want to know, like I said earlier, there's 3 doors that I want to knock on the door to find the prize. So it's exciting. It's exciting, right? You don't know, and I like that surprise. Right, I love that surprise, and yeah, it's exciting. I like it. Yeah.
Also, I think you are literally everywhere. Like when I actually typed Stephen K there, and I could see like so many links. I was overwhelmed. I mean, like I had to rest for a while, check every single link, so many links. And then I had to specifically type Stephen K interviews, so that the interviews would come up different. And then the publications where you are, the media houses, you everywhere, like Forbes, Entrepreneur, Inc., and every single, and just right now when I was entering this room, so there was this my colleague who helped me make this link, the Zoom link. He just told me to tell you that the open innovation article you recently wrote, he loves that. So he literally said it to me. He was sitting here and he
Oh.
said it. Just tell him. I love it. So people are actually watching every single thing which is out there. And how do you actually manage, so
Oh,
many
well,
things like this?
thank you for asking that question. I have a remarkable team, right? And I need a lot of help, right? So I have to give credit where credit is due. I went back to my high school reunion a couple years ago, and someone said, "Steve, you write a book. You write books, right?" And I said, "Well," and they said, "No, you're a writer." And I said, "Oh," and someone raised their hand and goes, "That's impossible," because I was in his English class and he could not put two sentences together. Okay, so like most inventors, I found a way around all my obstacles, right? And one of my obstacles is really, writing was never something I was very good at. School was very difficult for me. So I have a team, and part of my team is my daughter, my wife, and some others that allow me to give me a voice. So we do a lot of writing. We've written 1,000 articles in the last decade. Now,
Amazing.
holy smokes, is there that much to talk about? I mean, that's what my daughter said to me, because she does all the writings. 10 years ago, she said, after we wrote the first 100, she says, I think we're probably done, right? I go, well, I don't think so. So I have a great team that helps me get my voice out. You see, I didn't realize that most, this is kind of funny to say this, but this is something I realized just recently. My process is really about education. And most inventors don't think they need that. They need a prototype, they need a patent, but they don't need education. So I think education is very important, right? So we've been pushing education out for a decade. And that's why you can find us. I believe to give that information out. And we don't run ads, we do organic content. So I told my group 10 years ago, I said, look, let's write about every topic we can, and let's be very consistent. And we have been for a decade. And the YouTube videos. So now it's hard to miss me now, right? I mean, but it's a team. I think any successful person has a team underneath them. And I wouldn't be here today without my team. They make me look good.
Yeah, they are the backbone, basically.
They make me look good. Okay, so without them, I'm in trouble. And they're fast, and they know it, and they know the content, and they know the mission, and they know all of it too. So it's a pretty amazing machine we have now, right? And we work on it every day. Just today, I mean, every morning I get up at 6 a.m. and I write before my day starts. So
that is a great exercise, I would say, because over here also people are being motivated to actually write out whatever they're working on, whatever projects they're working on. Because if you don't, I think people who don't write, don't put it out there, I think it's all diluting out. If you actually write and let people know what you worked on, you actually write out all the case studies, you actually work on content, you become a brand only then. People know you only then. People know the kind of skill you have, the kind of areas where you might be working, and that's very important and basic. I think that is a need.
Yeah, we looked at it early on, that how was I going to get the message out to people? And I realized that having my own blog probably wasn't going to get that done. So when we started writing for other people, always ask me, why do you write for so many other people? Because they have a very strong SEO, right? So I can target any page on the internet, and I can get up there within minutes.
Yeah.
So it's been very well thought out. But here's the catch. If you're going to write something that really has value. Write something that people can actually use. Give it away. Don't hold back. give it away. Tim Ferriss was one of my students. He wrote a very popular book called The 4-Hour Work Week. And he said to me, if you're going to write anything, write it like it's your last. Never cheat. Give it away. And he was right. So we always make sure that whatever we do, there's something that people can take away. I don't ever want to steal someone's time.
That's absolutely amazing, because I would not want to read a book and then end up, oh my God, that was good. That was a good book, but I don't get anything out of it. I've not learned anything.
Yeah, I just wrote a new one. In fact, it's back there. You can see somewhere back there.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
And that was really a labor of love. People don't realize how much work it takes to write a book, and I got so caught up in it because I was learning so much by interviewing other companies that it was hard to stop. In fact, my team said, you have to stop. It's 490 pages. And I was like, no, I want more. So
yeah,
I think when people read it, they're going to realize I really wanted to uncover as much as I could possibly uncover. And I have I have 3 more books in the works. So
amazing.
there's a lot to do, and things are changing very, very quickly. And I think the advantage that my view is different than most people. I get to see everything and write about it that's very current today. What's happening today? And how is it changing? And I like that. I want to be very current and get people the latest information as fast as I can, because things are changing rapidly. And if not, so yeah, that's a fascinating. I'm extremely motivated. I'm more motivated today than I have when I first started.
That is brilliant. This is what people lack today.
Yeah, one thing I realized when I was in my early 20s, I was a business major taking economics, and I took an art class by mistake and just fell in love with creating. And I was reading about artists, and the one thing they said, that people that create never stop.
Yep.
And they carry that on for the end of their career. In fact, it's not a career, it's a passion. So I thought, well, what a great thing if I could create some way, somehow, for the rest of my life. So yeah, and I think if you look at people that are creative, they never stop. And that's a really fun thing. And some people say, well, you work so hard. This is not work. Okay, so I know what work is. This is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I think you've been a part of a lot of licensing deals. One thing which you would like to, one lesson or, 2 or 3 major takeaways that you would like to share with all those portfolio managers out there, all those patent brokerages out there, and people struggling to actually get through the deal, because it's not about the portfolio that they have. It's not about the set that they have. It's not about what is in it. It's more actually about how do they put it out there? How do they get through that deal? They convince, the buyer that you need it. So what do you think is actually a real catch when you are out there in that show doing that deal, and how to get through it?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think if there's one thing I want to leave with everybody, it's not what you think it is. We've been told that you need intellectual property. We've been told you need a patent. We've been told you need certain things, and this is not true. Today, companies realize it's all about the product. It's all about giving something their customers want. So come up with a good product that people want, and that will solve everything. And don't think it's about, protection. I think I don't think you can protect anything. I mean, look at Apple, the largest company in the world. They have a hard time defending their iPhone. So it's not about that. It's about good products. It's about things that people need, and find the companies that know that. Find the companies that embrace you, that work with you. The biggest thing I can walk away with, that Open innovation are companies that want people like us, and find those companies that embrace us, that welcome us, that want to work with us. That's your best protection, is find like-minded individuals at companies that value your assets. And they want to bring you in, and be a professional. Treat it as a profession, and be part of their team, and take their feedback and listen, and do all those things so they bring you in. And you are part of a huge thing, and let them take your dreams and let them share those dreams with the world, because that's what they're good at. And you do what you're good at. And if you're an entrepreneur, a dreamer, an inventor, find that partner that can help spread that everywhere.
Yeah, I just, this reminded me of a line or something that my director mentioned in the All Hands, which was that the thing you mentioned about the like-minded people, it was that, he mentioned that we turned down a lot of projects who wanted quick and dirty work from us, because they're not the type of people, we're meant for. So it's actually very important to realize that, this is a set of group, or these are the type of companies that would work with us. You're realizing the type of environment we have here, the type of timeline, our the codes, or maybe the type of work that we deliver in the end, how much time we want. So there will be very few companies who would fit that type of requirement. And it's very important to realize that just saying a yes because of a project coming up from a big brand would be a big no-no, because then I think it will be a clash of interests on both the sides.
Well, companies are realizing that to be first, sell first, sell fast, to be innovative, where do all those ideas come from? Right? I think the smart companies today are realizing those ideas can come anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, but not all companies are embracing this, but lots of them are every single day. I see them changing, and we're at the front of that change. And what I want to do is educate people to work with those companies correctly, but I also want to help the companies make sure they work with us correctly. So it's a partnership. It comes back to teamwork. So I think the opportunities for everyone is growing by leaps and bounds, and I get to see it all around the world. I'm seeing more countries, companies are changing their attitudes. I'm seeing that happen. I'm even seeing people license ideas to Chinese companies, and I never thought I'd see that ever happen. So I just think you have to align yourself with the right companies that have the right attitude as you do, and make sure they do.
Yeah.
Right. And if they don't, find one that does.
Yeah, that's simple.
That to me is so simple.
Yeah.
And I get to interview these companies now because that I write for some of the magazines, right? So, and they know that what's happening, they see so much success coming from us that they're willing to open the doors now and tell me. And it's very beneficial for them to share with me what's working, what's not working, what's required for them to work with us. So I'm going to keep interviewing these companies. And I'm going to keep on asking those questions to help us, creative people, to work with these guys. And I think they appreciate it, because they want good ideas too, right? And they don't want to waste, they want anybody to waste their time, and they don't want to waste yours, and they don't want you to waste their time. So I have a big job ahead of me, and that's why I'm really excited about it. I want to bridge the gap. I want to build the bridge. Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah. Also, I wanted to know that you always have a very faint smile on your face. Like in every single interview, wherever you're giving a speech, wherever you're going, you have a faint smile on your face. So what's up with it? What keeps you, with that motivation to smile throughout, or you just have a smiling face? Or do you ever get sad? I mean, I'm just, being very crazy asking that, but it is.
I think, it's funny you said that, because I'm actually a very shy guy, and people don't realize that. I like this topic a lot. So I'm surprised I can even share that with people. So I'm still in awe. I can share it. People want to hear what I have to say. So I guess I'm just kind of surprised. And it makes me excited that I can share it and the people that want to hear it. So I've also realized that if you can give someone the gift of enthusiasm, it's a pretty powerful gift.
It is.
Yeah. And so I think I like to see if I can motivate people that way. And I think the first thing you should do is, it's really funny. You can get up, someone taught me this early on, you can get up in front of a crowd, and a lot of people are afraid of public speaking, and I'm one of those people too. But someone told me, Steve, if you get up in front of a crowd, just get up there and smile. You have everybody in the palm of your hands. And you haven't said a word. So how powerful is that? It's a powerful tool.
It is.
I don't think enough people do it. Everybody has a fear. And I think the smile breaks the fear down right away. So
The smile breaks the fear down. It is actually a very beautiful line.
Well.
So now we know. So now we know the secret behind that smile.
I have a lot to smile about too. Life is, it's full of surprises, and I'm still surprised at all of it. So I'm just thankful that I can take people on the same journey I've been on. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a world full of, hungry, I would say, for inspiration, for motivation to, get on moving. And I think it is a great job that people like you are doing, because when I see your videos, or even when I saw your the speech that you gave at some event at Google, specifically, I loved that because it was so much full of content. I don't know, but I found content in every single line, and it was amazing. And I have never been a person who thought, because people around me are actually very much inspired towards getting a patent and inventing out there and everything. And I was like, why would I do that? My passion is very different. I want to go in copywriting, like copywriting with a W in terms of writing, and then marketing, and it's very different. And I saw that video, I shared it with a couple of people. I told them that this video is actually convincing me to go file a patent. And that is crazy, because nobody would actually do that. Nobody could actually manage to do that. I don't know how do you manage, but
I'm surprised you mentioned that video, because I don't think it was my best presentation. And I remember I got this invite to go to Google, and I said, of course. And I was kind of surprised. So, and I brought someone with me that we've been working together for 20 years. He's a good friend of mine, and I'm there ready to do a talk, right? And I don't prepare for it, and I don't put notes together, and I just don't do that. And I'm there 5 minutes before it starts, and there's no one in the room. Not one person. The guy with the camera, he's the only guy. And I looked around at James, he was with me. I looked at him like, where's everybody?
Do I talk to the walls? What do I do?
Hey, trust me, I have before. So that's not a problem, right? And but I thought it was a little odd. And then 1 minute before it started, it was packed. I'll never forget that, because then I looked back, I'm like, where did everybody come from? It's just like they came out of nowhere. I looking back, I've been doing this for a long time, and some events are crowded and some are not. and I've been to big events. I spoke at the Sydney Convention Center where there was thousands of people, and I've spoken at places where 3 people show up. Okay, so, but I'm just as enthusiastic with the 3 than I am with the 1,000. And I would be just as happy talking about it if I was in a line in a grocery store to someone that was behind me. So
And then you
that
say you're shy.
enthusiasm will never change.
And then you say you're shy. I don't think you are.
Well, you know, it's funny because people in my neighborhood think I'm very shy, and there's a lot of dinner parties, and I never say 2 words. And until one of my neighbors saw a video I did, and they were like, "Was that you? You never say 2 words." And I had to kind of laugh because I thought, oh, they saw one of those. Because I keep it very quiet. My neighborhood, no one really talks about what they do. Everything's, you know, it's just a different type of neighborhood, and I keep it very private, right? And the only people I share it with are people that my community. I can be myself with my community, but I'm not going to share that with everybody. You have to kind of protect yourself a little bit, right? Of your passion. So yeah, I would say I'm a pretty shy guy, but most people don't believe it, but I am.
Okay, I can buy that now. Also, I saw that the whole, the speech that you gave at Google, you mentioned, you specifically advised, inventors to turn their sell sheets, or basically, the way they're selling it, into short videos. Can you give, some kind of rule? I would not say rules, but some kind of instructions they should keep in mind, that these are the things they should not do while converting those sell sheets into videos. Now that is something they're going simply from that, something very theoretical aspect where the numbers are on that page now, to creating videos, and everybody would not be comfortable with that scenario. But if they do it, if they go with that process, of selling it through the short videos, what are the things they should just keep in mind or avoid, basically?
Well, sell sheets have been around forever. And in fact, my wife was the one that told me to do the sell sheets. So, and she tells me I never tell anybody that secret, but it came from her. Sell sheets are everywhere, right? They're on packaging, they're on ads, they're everywhere around us. So you're just really marketing your product with a sell sheet, and it has to be just very short and concise, and give people they need to understand it within a second or 2. Most people end up putting too much information into it, and by doing that, it's not easy to understand, or you're asking too much for that person to read and understand it. I tell everybody, a sell sheet is basically a billboard on a highway, and you drive, you're driving by at 60 miles an hour, and you understand it instantly. So, and most people get that wrong. I'm surprised how many people get that wrong. It sounds simple, but it's not that simple. So I also think the most powerful tool you have is your one-line benefit statement, your value proposition. If that's strong enough, you don't even have to show someone your product. See, that's powerful, right? You don't have to explain anything. People have a hard time with that too. That's not easy to do, but it's everywhere. It's on headlines of newspapers. It's on things on the internet that you click on. It's titles of videos you watch. Those one-line benefit statements have to be emotional and grab people really quick. I think that's something people need to work on. But once you see them everywhere. And I tell everybody, when you see a great one-line benefit statement, collect it. Right?
Yeah.
And you'll start to get, I think, pretty good at it. So in the videos, you mentioned the videos, the best-selling tools today are 1-minute videos, right? And it's a storytelling in that video. I don't think you have to be a salesperson anymore. I think your sell sheet or your videos sells for you. All you do is deliver it. You're like the delivery man. You're just going to deliver it and let your marketing material sell for you.
Yeah.
So those are really great tools. Those are tools anybody can do, right? And they're very inexpensive too, right? I mean, they're in fact, what's amazing now, you don't even have to have a prototype. I can have a 3D model that someone created that looks real. I don't even have to build it anymore. So if I cannot get interest from my sell sheet, why would I go ahead and start a company? Why would I build a prototype? Why would I file a patent? So those are really great tools. I just tell everybody, just learn that craft. Don't get in a hurry. Find great sell sheets that you see now, collect those, study those. And less is more. Negative space is a beautiful thing. People want to take a blank sheet of paper and they want to fill it up. Now, you want the negative space, right? And if you can condense your benefit of your product down in one little sentence, how powerful is that, right? I mean, and I think the greatest person that was able to do that was Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
God, he was a master at that.
Yeah, indeed.
So I think we can learn a lot. In fact, there's some books written on his presentation styles that I've read that, like I'll do a presentation, I'll do the same thing he does. I'll put one image or a word. It's powerful. And I don't think you need to get caught up in the details at the very beginning. Right? Yeah.
It's just
Comes
like,
later.
yeah, it is just like I'm selling my email to my subject line that, people might open it or not open it if the subject line is great or not. It's basically that one line.
Yeah, you're going to love this. People always ask me, can I speed it up, Steve? I go, how much faster do you want it to be? You build a sell sheet, you're not doing anything but creating a sell sheet. That's pretty fast. But if you want to do it even faster, I'll give you a tip. I'll give you an example. Let's say I have a new hammer, okay? And this hammer has a soft handle, so it doesn't hurt my shoulder. Lets me hammer all day long. And it's made out of lightweight material. It's a different type of metal. So it's even lighter, it's durable, it's strong, and it's got a really wide head so I can hit those nails every single time. Okay. This is my invention. It's a new hammer. All right. But I could reach out to a company and I could say to them, get someone on sales, say, look, I've got a new hammer that allows you to work twice as hard, be more productive, and get the job done quicker. Would you like to see it? I sold the benefit.
Sold it. Yeah, you sold it. You actually sold it. Yeah.
Yes. And I tell everybody, once you learn that, then you're off and running. You're fast. You're so fast. Now be an idea machine. Yeah.
Amazing. That was so much in just a few questions and so much of new things and even the lines that you're saying are actually keywords which can be used by people directly. Also, the last question, just wrapping it up, I would like to know how much do you think that the dynamics of product licensing have changed over all these years up till now? And how much do you think, what is the pace with which they are actually, now going to change with every coming year, now that, we are over a decade now?
Well, it used to be, today it's faster. The world is faster. You can license ideas quicker. You can reach out to companies through LinkedIn real fast. I mean, we teach a course just on that now. It used to be I would have to go down to the store, look in the back of the package, call customer service, find out. I mean, just to get to the right person just was, and then send it a FedEx or a mail. And the whole process was, long. It worked. but it wasn't very efficient. Today, it's so fast. I mean, I can create a sell sheet, reach out to someone on LinkedIn, and I could do it while I'm putting gas in the car. Okay, so, and I could do it living anywhere in the world. Okay, so it's changed so fast. Okay, so just the speed in which you can reach out to companies and build relationships and do it is remarkable compared to when I was doing it back in the day. Where is it in the future? I think what's going to happen, I'd like to see what happens, is that companies are educating us and building some industries have a department, like the toy industry is the best. They've been doing this for over 80 years. They have a dedicated department for new product submissions. So they're very good at it. They get back to you, they catalog it, they help you. They've got, I think the future is that you're going to see more and more companies build departments that can actually communicate with inventors better. I think that's the future, because there is a problem there. And I think that's the big hurdle, is the bridge. Some companies, and I think inventors are going to educate themselves so they really become part of the team faster. I think that's what's going to happen. That's why I see the future. And I think more and more companies are going to build departments that are going to work with us. So if there's 10,000 today, there'll be 100,000 tomorrow. And I think that's what's going to happen. Yeah.
Yeah, it is the truth indeed, because more than people willing to actually do it, it's also about the need that is coming up, because we've seen a lot of businesses actually failing recently because they had zero, like literally zero protection. I mean, how can someone do that? And it was like such beautiful models failing damn miserably. So it's actually a need. So
you know what's happening? A lot of people are still so fascinated with startups, right? But there's a lot of failure there, right? And I think startups can realize that maybe they learned to license part of their technology to bring some funding in. Maybe they learn more about that tool too. I think a lot of startups don't understand that tool very well. But I think most people are going to realize today it's a race. Okay. And if it is a race, and I think it is, right? And because everything's gotten faster. And if it is, the fastest way to bring a product to market today is through licensing. So I think you're going to find more and more people embracing that business model because of the speed in which it can be done.
So if it's a race, everybody has to be in it to win it. I mean, there's no other way, actually. Okay, Steven, that was just amazing. I think it went on for a longer time than expected, because it was so much, like there was so much, and still I feel that there's so much to learn from you. Honestly, I didn't feel like an interview, but it was a conversation, more like a conversation, because I think you shared instances which I didn't see in many of the videos which I saw earlier. So there was something new which was coming up with every conversation, even when I was picking up questions which were based on all those past interviews or the data I collected. But there was something new I learned in everything, with every single question.
Well, thank you for asking such great questions. And thank you for doing your homework. Okay. And yeah, it makes me very happy that what we're doing is getting out there, and you found it, you're seeing it. And so it gives me hope that what we're doing is working. All right. And I'm going to share that with my team, because it's important. Sometimes we do things, we don't know the impact we're making sometimes.
Yeah, it does happen.
But I think you've expressed to me the impact it's having, well, basically around the world. So I cannot thank you enough for that.
Thanks to you. And also, I have your book. I just bought it recently, One Simple Idea. So I will start with the first one. But I didn't bring it today here intentionally because I have not started reading it, to be very honest. I will read it and I am going to definitely share it on LinkedIn, like my experience, what I learned through it, because I am going from like a person who was not interested in this, who was not inspired by inventions, to being now moving in that direction slowly. So I can't thank you enough for that, to be very honest. And I will
Wow.
definitely share my experience with your book when I read it. It's at my home, lying at my desk. I'll definitely.
Well,
read it.
if I can do anything for you, let me know. And thank you. Okay.
Thanks to you.
All right.
This will be like so informative. I'm just imagining I'll just edit and post it, and then it'll be like people would be actually learning so much from it. So it was great. It was great. It was a pleasure having you, Stephen. Thank you so much for connecting and making time. So much of it. Thank you so much.
No, thank you for inviting me. All right. Bye.
Bye bye.